Hut, hut, hike! Hello again, my fellow Bears fans. Your boy Roy for Chicago Football Talk, and I wanted to actually show you some of these plays, break down the 7 sacks that happened very quickly, though, and how they relate to whether or not Cutler's holding on to the ball too long. Now, as always, there's 2 sides to every story, and there are people that have actually gone on record as saying that the majority of the sacks that had occurred in that game were on Cutler's fault for holding on to the ball too long. Now, I could agree with those people that have said that, or with that perspective, had the offensive line not given up or lost their blocks on all of these sacks that people are exonerating the offensive line for. So I want to show you what Cutler saw as the line was starting to break in terms of the coverage downfield, and then also show you, of course, the line breaking down a little bit. It's going to be a very quick bang breakdown, and just a quick legend to this breakdown. I've highlighted the Bears players, even when they're with Packers, in solid circles. And the Packers players, when they're alone, are highlighted with dashes, if you will, whether they're behind the line of scrimmage or in the secondary. And a word about holding on to the ball too long. All defenses know that one of the things that makes it very difficult for them to make plays or cover an offense is when a quarterback has the mobility and athleticism like Cutler does, like a Ben Roethlisberger does, to extend the play. And the question you have to ask yourself is whether or not you want Cutler to give up on plays, which is a win for the defense, rather than extend the plays, is do you want to take that away? Do you want to not capitalize on Cutler's athleticism and his ability to extend plays? The way I see it, just like the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line has come to learn how to block to the whistle and hold on to their blocks because they know Ben Roethlisberger will break the back of a defense by extending the plays, that's what I want to see. I don't want Cutler to give up on plays early. I don't want the Bears to make it easy for any defense that they play. I want them to hold on to their blocks to the whistle. And if they do that, and then Cutler walks into a sack or something like that, then I'll put it on Cutler. So let's just take a look at what Cutler saw, and then you can be the judge, as they say. You make the call. So let's get right into it. On the first sack, we all remember that was attributed to actually Matt Forte, and as I showed you in my first breakdown about the Bears' near fast start, I think it was also partially Spencer's fault, as he should have picked up the linebacker first, in my opinion. So let's quickly move along, like I said, in a bang fashion to the second sack. And as Spencer is losing his block, you can see here that Jay sees the wide receivers are pretty much covered. Going back to the line, you can see that Spencer and Karimi lose their blocks and force Jay to scramble before he gets creamed by both of their guys. Now on to the third sack, and we see this is the Jay Webb sack heard around the world. And I wonder if Camera Girl took a picture of this for Jay Webb Nation to see. I'm guessing that after this sack, Jay Webb told Cutler that's what he gets for not buying a $30 Jay Webb Nation t-shirt. And that's why Jay Cutler probably got so pissed off to the bumpy point. Surely I jest. So anyway, now what I want to mention about the following 4 sacks is the Bears actually never gave up a sack in the third quarter. So those other 2 sacks occurred before the third quarter. I think 1 in the first and 1 in the second. So the rest of these 4 sacks all happen in the fourth quarter. All 4 of the sacks occur from the 9-minute, 7-second mark and beyond in the fourth quarter after the Bears are down by 3 scores, with the score being 23-3. I assume the following 4 sacks are the ones which most who have exonerated the offensive line for some of these sacks are referring to. I might be able to do the same, like I said before, had the line not lost their blocks on these plays. Again, with only 9 minutes to go and the Bears being down by 3 scores, I can't say that I blame Cutler as much as others have for trying to extend the plays to win the game at this point. But again, you call it like you see it, and I respect both opinions, and I can see both sides of it. But in case you haven't looked at this side, that's why we're doing this. Moving back to the plays. On the 4th sack, as Garza has lost his guy, which forces Jay to start scrambling, you don't see many open guys down the field here. Going behind the line of scrimmage, you see that Garza wasn't the only guy to lose a block, as Karimi loses his man as well before Jay goes down. Moving on to the 5th sack, as Clay Matthews bypasses Jay Webb yet again, we see pretty good coverage on all but one of the Bears wide receivers, that being Michael Bush, who's at the 20-yard line. Now, unfortunately, Jay never gets a chance to see him, though, as he actually takes his eyes off the receiver when he sees Karimi start to collapse the edge, losing ground to his block. He actually did hold his block, but not before Cutler scrambles away from that, and that's where he sees Clay Matthews is coming free to make the sack. Now, the final 2 sacks that occur here, you're going to see are after the touchdown that Kellen Davis scored with 4 minutes and 9 seconds left in the game. Still down 2 scores, though, 23-10, and Jay does extend the play on these as well. And again, this is some of the plays I think people are exonerating the offensive line for. So moving right along. On the 6th sack, as Garza loses his guy, the Packers, knowing that the Bears have to throw, have everybody covered pretty well. Thinking he has a lane up the middle, Cutler steps up, but Jay Webb loses his guy on a spin move, resulting in another Cutler sack. Last but not least, the 7th and final sack, as Michael Bush is collapsing the pocket from within versus Clay Matthews, it forces Jay Webb to actually help him out, which allows the guy to come along the edge on Jay Webb's side. The most open guy here that we see is, guess who? None other than Alshon Jeffrey. And this is in addition to the 7 plays I showed you in my last breakdown in which Jeffrey was open. That makes it a total of 8 plays that I noticed he was actually open for. Unfortunately, because the pressure is coming from where Jay Cutler would have to step up to make the throw, Cutler tries to scramble up the middle before being sacked by Clay Matthews. So anyway, you can be the judge on those plays. I've showed you what you need to do. Go back and take a look if you need to, and you can stop and take a look at what Jay Cutler was seeing on those plays. But there's always 2 sides to every story. And again, honestly, I don't want to take that ability away from Cutler because I know how hard it is on defenses to actually have to cover receivers for that long. It is also hard on the offensive line, but if the Pittsburgh line can do it, not saying that the Bears line is that good, but if the Pittsburgh line has learned how to block to the whistle, it's something I think they need to start putting an emphasis on if they haven't already at Hallis Hall to get the Bears offensive line to do that too. I don't want to see the Bears give up on plays early. Let's take advantage of the athleticism that Cutler has, in my humble opinion, and I respect yours if it differs. So my pleasure as always to give you that information and that footage for you to go through and take a look at. Your boy Roy for Chicago Football Talk as always. Keep an eye out for my preview video of the Rams game, which is on the way. Your boy Roy, peace, and I'm out.